Hello students, welcome to class. So in this class we are going to start with another topic, that is section 3, the writing skills. So this section is considered to be the most important section of your question paper. Section 3 has been given question number 4. It has 4 sub questions from question number 4a to question number 4d. Each sub question carries 4 marks. So likewise the total goes to 16 marks for section 3, the writing skills. Now we'll see which topics are covered in the writing skills part. You have the topics of summary writing, mind mapping, note making, statement of purpose, drafting a virtual message, and group discussion. So these are the topics which are given in your textbook. Along with this, in your question paper, you can find the topics of standard 11th course book like email writing, appeal writing, comparing. So these were the topics that were taught to you in standard 11th. So these topics are also included in your question paper for standard 12th. Now we will see the pattern of questions. So section 3, writing skills, have been given 16 marks. So the question is, question number 4, complete the activities as per the instructions given below. As I told, it carries 16 marks. So question number 4a, you have to attempt any one out of the 3 activities given. You will be given 3 activities for each sub questions. Like you can see on the screen, in question number 4a, you have drafting virtual message, statement of purpose, and group discussion. So you can attempt any one, either of the 3 activities which have been given to you. So in question number 4b, you have email or report or interview. In question number 4c, you can attempt speech or comparing or expansion of ideas. In question number 4d, you have review or blog or appeal. So students are required to attempt any one activity from each set. So marks distribution, as I told you, question number 4 has 4 sub questions A, B, C and D, and each sub question carries 4 marks. So likewise question number 4, which is of writing skills, has 16 marks. So now we'll start with question number 4a. In this video, we'll complete question number 4a by studying 3 topics, which are drafting virtual messages, statement of purpose, and group discussion. So let's start with the first topic, that is drafting a virtual message. So before starting, we'll just have a small introduction. So we know that communication is essentially a human triad. Though other living beings also communicate among themselves as at a basic level, human communication is quite advanced and complex. Transmission and reception of ideas, thoughts, feelings, and information in a mutually comprehensible way is called communication. So, communication can be broadly classified into 3 types: oral, written, and virtual. So now we'll see what is a message. What do you mean by a message? So a message is an informal mode of communication. Here, the first receiver of the information process the data and then transcript the vital elements in the form of a message to the intended receiver, who is generally a third party. So we can have an example like, if I am your teacher and you all are my students, I have my head as principal. So if principal ma'am has taken out a notice that tomorrow we are going to have holiday on account of Christmas, so this particular message I am required to forward to all my students. So here principal ma'am will be the sender of the message and I will be the first receiver, and my students are going to be the third party, which is called as intended receiver. So I'll just understand the message and Transcript all the vital information from that message, write it in the given format, and then send it to the intended receiver, that is to my students. So this is particularly the definition of a message. So in the next slide, we'll see the types of messages. So total there are 4 types of messages: positive messages, negative messages, neutral messages, and persuasive messages. So we'll just see what these messages are. So positive messages. These types of messages include expression of thanks, sympathy, appreciation, etc. Negative messages include expression of disappointment, denial, disapproval, cancellation, etc. Now, third one, neutral messages means they are devoid of any emotions, feelings, or sentiments and stating just the dry facts. So, neither some positive nor anything negative is mentioned in the neutral messages. Then comes persuasive messages. Persuasive messages means messages prompting the receiver to action or extending assurance or support. For example, in persuasive message, we can see that if I have purchased a new laptop and there is some technical issue in that laptop, and for that I require some assistance from the company, so I'll just type a message in the desired format and send it to the person or to the company requesting for some technical support for solving that issue. So these types of messages are included in persuasive messages. So now we'll see what is virtual communication. So when we communicate with people who are not physically present in front of us, it is called virtual communication. So at present, nowadays, we are very used to virtual communication. As in the online classes also, students are not physically present in front of us, but they are virtually present. So this type of communication is known as virtual communication. The people could be nearby or far away. So there are no barriers to virtual communication. Either if I am taking classes from Mumbai, so students can attend classes from all over the world. There are no barriers to virtual communication. Though virtual communication came into being with the advent of telephone, the recent revolution in communication technology made it very popular and common. Audio and video facilities made virtual communication the favorite mode of the contemporary world. So nowadays we can see that virtual communication is considered to be the best mode of communication. We don't prefer to meet people physically, but we prefer to meet people or to talk with people virtually. So because of all these facilities of audio and video, so virtual communication has become the most favorite mode of communication of the world. So now we'll see the major types of messages under virtual communication. So there are total 6 types of messages. First 3 types you can see on the screen. They are directional messages, messages of possibility, messages of reality. So first we'll go through directional messages. So these types of messages give us a point of view on the best way to achieve a certain goal. Tips or guidelines on how to be richer, happier, etc. belong to this category. So in the word directional messages, you can see that it gives us a particular direction in order to achieve something. If you want to become an IAS officer, so you have to follow certain directions, you have to have a mind map in your mind to achieve that particular goal. So likewise, the messages stating the directions on how you need to work are known as directional messages. Next is messages of possibility. A message of possibility reminds us that something else is possible. These types of messages give hope to the receiver and prompts him or her to be optimistic. So in this you can see messages of possibility. It means that something or the other is possible. These types of things are given to us in messages of possibilities. It is used to give hope or to have some optimistic attitude in the person who is going to receive the message. Then third type of message is messages of reality. These types of messages give a gist of things as they are and ask the receiver to reassess the situation. Such a message could be as factual as a minimap or as complex as a conceptual framework. A message of reality helps us to reset our views about the possibilities and limitations of our approaches. So in this messages of reality, if something is given to us and we are not satisfied with that, or we know that that thing has not occurred or some wrong facts have been mentioned, so we can just send another message to the receiver that you have to reassess the particular situation and then you have to transcribe the message. So these types of message, as I told you, helps us to reset our views about the possibilities and limitations. So I hope you are clear with these three types of messages. Now we move on to the next three types. So the next three types of messages are messages of necessity, new idea messages, and reframing messages. So we'll see messages of necessity. A message of necessity is a clarion call for action. It goes beyond the possibilities and limitation. It is a dictate to get what we want. Such a message usually begins with the expression "we need to." For example, if you have purchased a particular thing and you have or we can say if you have ordered a thing online and you have received it damaged, so you are going to return it and you are going to send a message that we have received a damaged product and we need to have a refund for this, or we need an exchange against this product. So these types of messages are under messages of necessity. Then comes new idea messages. So new idea messages, these messages come from people who hit a novel idea or who had a flash of revelatory insight. These types of messages are shared with great excitement and enthusiasm. For example, if you are a student of standard 12th and you have what we can say you have discovered an asteroid, so you will be very happy and you have been recognized from NASA or we can say ISRO. So you are very excited to share your achievement with others. So as you have hit a novel idea, you have done an achievement, you have discovered a new asteroid, so that particular excitement you are going to share in the form of messages. So these types of messages are known as new idea messages. Then comes the last type, that is reframing messages. So such messages aim at a reversal of views and ideas. They intend to effect a full turn of affairs by trying to reframe our so-called weaknesses to strength, our concept of ugliness to beauty, or in short, everything vice versa. So in this reframing messages means we are required to reframe a particular situation, or we have to just reverse our views and ideas. So it can be seen like if we have a certain weakness, so we need to reframe it and we need to transform it from weakness to our strength, like from ugliness to our beauty. So these types of messages are known as reframing messages. So here we have completed all the major types of messages under virtual communication. Now we shall start with the general format of a message. So before that, we'll just see that though text messaging has become quite common nowadays, there are still occasions where we need to draft a written message. So, learning to write short and clear messages is an accomplishment that each student must aspire for. The input information for the message usually comes in the form of a telephone conversation. Standard instructions may also contain the necessary input for the written message. The receiver of the input information is then required to convert it into a written message. These messages are usually written on memo slips. So, as I told you, nowadays we are in touch of writing messages or communicating virtually. So, in question of drafting virtual message, you will be given information in the form of a conversation, or we can say a dialogue between two people, and then you are required to understand it and transcript it for the third person. So that type of questions will be asked to you in drafting virtual message. So now we'll see the general format of message. Your message should have the most important 5 things which are mentioned on the screen. Firstly, it should have a date, it should have time, name of the person to whom the message is intended, then it should have body of the message. At last, there should be name of the writer or whoever is sending the message. Then there are certain points which you are required to remember that we are going to see in the next slide. So, points to remember. Write only the most important points. In the dialogue, you will be given many things, but you are required to understand, summarize it, and then transcript it. So, do not add any new information. Whatever information is given to you in the dialogue, you are required to write that information only. Any addition or subtraction must not be done. Use grammatically correct sentence. Grammar plays a very important role in English. So you should concentrate on your grammatical skills so that you don't lose marks. Then you have to use indirect or reported speech. If you are not aware of how you have to write indirect speech, in further videos we are going to see that. Use simple language and avoid abbreviations. Abbreviations means short forms. So you have to use a simple language and you need to avoid short forms. Everything has to be written in long forms. Check your message before sending or submitting it. Like when you are writing, you should be completely prepared of what all things you have to write, because any type of cutting or clipping must not be there in your answer paper. Then use reader friendly and polite tone. Avoid creating confusion. Any misreading in such cases may lead to chaotic situations. So you should avoid confusion, and whatever is given to you and you are asked to do, only that much you should be doing. Any other thing should not be done so that it can cause any kind of chaos. Now, which type of question can be asked? Along with this, we are going to see the format example also. So a question is given to you. Using the information from the dialogue given below, write the message which Amrita left for her brother Saurabh. Note, do not leave out any vital information or add any new information. So as I told you, you will be given a dialogue between two people and you are required to transcript a message for the third person. So likewise, you are required to write a message in which you should not leave any vital information, nor you should add any new information by yourself. So I have not mentioned the dialogue here. Any type of dialogue can be given to you. So now we'll see the format example, how you have to answer in this question. So first of all, you need to prepare a box. In that, first thing that we have seen, you have to mention the date. So date, as I have mentioned here, 21st January. So in messages, you are not required to mention the year. Like if it is 2021 or 2020, so you need not mention the year. Only the date has to be mentioned. in the desired format as you can see on the screen. Then next thing that you are required to write is the time. So I have written 1:30 p.m. You can write any time or whichever time is given to you in the question paper. Then to whom I am sending the message, name of the person to whom the message is intended. So I want to write the message to Saurabh. So I have written Saurabh. Then what exactly I want to convey to him, that also I have written. These 3 lines are the body of the message. Then at last I have written Amrita, which is the name of the writer or the sender. So this is a example of how you need to attempt the question, how you need to answer in drafting a virtual message. So I hope this is clear to you. So here we complete with the first topic of question number 4a, that is drafting a virtual message. So now we are going to move on to the next topic, that is statement of purpose. It is known as SOP in short form. So we'll have a short introduction. A statement of purpose, SOP, is a personalized application seeking admission to a university for a particular course. It is a brief essay describing you as the person you are, your goals and your plans. The scorecard or the transcript gives only the data factually, whereas an SOP is a subjective assessment of your personality, your unique qualities and strengths as you perceive them. It gives you a chance to put forward your liking for the said course and the factors that prompted you to pursue the course. More than that, an SOP is a blueprint of your course plan. In an SOP, your choosing of the particular institution must be presented convincingly. So, what do you mean by an SOP? SOP is a statement of purpose. It is a personalized application in which you give it to a particular university for seeking admission. So in this you need to mention all your personal details, your plans, your qualities, your goals and which qualities you have which would enable you or which would have you to pursue that course. So in the next slide we'll see the format of SOP. The SOP should be ideally of around 500 words divided into 5 or 6 paragraphs. So total your SOP should have 5 or 6 paragraphs.
How is that by the
It should have 5 or 6 paragraphs that should be of around 500 words. The introduction should be followed by a short sketch of your personal background, your mental makeup and your aim in life. This forms the first paragraph. Now comes the second para. The second paragraph must contain the reason of choosing the particular program or course. You should be able to connect your area of interest with the selection of course. Then the third para. In the third paragraph, you can write about your personal qualities that will stand in your favor for pursuing the said course. Also, you can write about your hobbies and extracurricular activities here and mention how they will support your goal. Now, you can mention your experience or exposure to the said field in your fourth paragraph. This could be an internship or a project that you did. You can also mention here some facts that make you distinct from other applicants. Now next comes the concluding paragraph, that is the fifth paragraph. The concluding paragraph must reflect your long-term career perspective. You should also state here how immensely beneficial it would be for you to get admission to this particular university and course. So this is particularly the format of SOP. As I told you, it should consist of minimum 500 words, which should be divided in 5 or 6 paragraphs. So in this format, we have discussed which paragraph should consist of what. Okay. So in the next slide, we'll see some points which you are required to remember while attempting the SOP. So first point is, write the SOP in a clear and easy to understand style. Be careful to avoid mistakes in spelling and grammar. Facts must be presented in a convincing manner, as you are writing an SOP for admission to particular university. So in that, you should mention the things in a very convincing manner for the person who is reading your SOP. The link between the course you want to pursue and your career choice should be clear. Highlight your qualities and life experience in such a way that your application renders a unique tone and tenor. Be straightforward and transparent. The judging committee who screens the applications comprise very experienced people, and any opacity in writing will prove counterproductive. So you should be careful about all these points which have been mentioned here. Now we'll see an example of SOP. First we'll see the question example. So read the personal details given below and prepare a suitable statement of purpose. This is the question. So the question is, University of Bath, UK is one of the leading universities for business studies. You belong to a business family and wish to start your own business in future. In your junior college, you have opted for commerce, scored well in 10th board examination. You made profit in the stall you had put up in the business fair organized by your school or college. Your hobbies are playing cricket or hockey. You get along well with people. So this is a question example which has been given to you, and based on this everything is given, like who you are. You belong to a business family, then you had opted for commerce in your standard 12th, as well as you scored well in your standard 10th board examinations. Also experience has been given to you that you had organized a business fair in which your school had organized a business fair in which your stall had made a huge profit. Your hobbies are also mentioned. You like to play cricket or hockey. And another thing about your attitude is mentioned, that you get along well with people. And most importantly, in which university you want to apply, that university name is also given. In this, you have to apply at University of Bath, UK. And this university is one of the leading universities for business studies. So all these points would help you all these points would enable you to write a good SOP that can get you 4 out of 4 marks. So here we complete with SOP, or the statement of purpose. Now we move on to the next topic of question number 4A, that is group discussion. So this is considered to be the most easiest thing to attempt in your writing skills. So it is group discussion. So we'll just have a short introduction. There is not much which we can explain in group discussion. So likewise, we'll have a short introduction. A group discussion is a supervised communication activity wherein multiple participants engage themselves in exchanging views and opinions on a given topic. While presenting their views and opinions, the participants also remain receptive to the views and opinions of other participants. There may be arguments and counter-arguments in a positive way. Similarly, some opinions are supported and some others are opposed. The general mood of the discussion decides whether the group is in favor or against of the given subject. Finally, under the supervision of the evaluator, the members conclude the discussion on a general consensus. So in this, what you have to do is you will be given a particular topic and you would require to have a group discussion on that topic. So you can take a group of 2 to 3 people or 4 to 5 people, and accordingly you can have a discussion on the given topic. So in that, what will be the general evaluation criteria that we'll go through? So your evaluation will be done based on your communication skills, your fluency, accuracy, force of argument, body language, etc. Then your language competency, which types of language skills you are using in group discussion while writing your paper, so that will be given marks. Then grasp of the topic, whatever topic is given to you, how efficiently you write a discussion on that will also contain marks. Then your analytical skills, reasoning skills, organizational skills. So these types of skills, like how well you analyze the particular situation or the topic, and how do you give the reasoning for that, proper reasons in order to argue and counter argue on the given topic. So all these skills would be tested in group discussion. So for example, some topics like factual topics can be given to you, social or political topics, abstract topics or case studies can also be given to you. For example, one topic we can see a factual topic, that is plastic should be banned. So this topic can be given to you and you can be asked to write a group discussion based on this topic. So now we come to the language of group discussion. So which type of language you need to use? You need to have expressing opinions, then expressing agreements, expressing disagreements, making suggestions and asking for opinions, interruptions, handling interruptions, and then the concluding sentences. So first we'll see expressing opinions. So if 4 to 5 people are there, so anyone can express their views. So anyone can write that it seems to me, or in my opinion this particular thing is there, and likewise can be done in expressing opinions. Now in expressing agreement, if you agree with some other person in the group discussion, you can write absolutely, I fully agree with you, or you are right. So these types of phrases can be used. Now expressing disagreement, so phrases like I can see your point but I am not sure if it is possible or not, या फिर you may have something there but, these types of things can be used in expressing disagreement. Now next is making suggestions. You can suggest something, so like you can say I think we should do this, or do you think we could do this also, or let's do this. So this can be mentioned. Then asking for opinion. So in the group discussion you can have sentences like what do you feel about it, what's your opinion on this topic. So these types of things can be mentioned. Now comes interruptions. So in interruptions you can have excuse me, could I add something please, or I'm sorry to interrupt but I want to ask something. So these types of things can be mentioned in interruptions. Next comes handling interruptions. Just a moment please, could I finish what I am saying. These types of things can be considered in handling interruptions. Last comes concluding. So you can say let's run quickly through the main ideas before concluding the discussion, or you can say that now we will summarize it. So these types of things can be there in group discussion. These types of uses of these particular types of sentences must be done while writing a group discussion. So here you have an example. There is an inter-school cricket match and your school is losing. As you are the captain, have a group discussion with your teammates in the tea break about the strategy to be followed to save your school from losing the match. Give at least 4 to 5 suggestions. So this is a particular example of how the question can be asked to you. So here we come to an end of the topic of writing skills, that is question number 4A. Today in this video we have completed drafting a virtual message, statement of purpose and group discussion. So we'll end this lecture for today and we'll see you in the next class. Till then, goodbye and take care.